two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the YouTube Livey.
It is. Welcome.
Welcome. Normal. Episode 38 is out. Okay. So go check that out. We'll have a little announcement in a little bit about the Fuego that dropped today. But Moose, how are we feeling?
Pretty good. Yeah, things are good. Things are good over here. I'm settled. I'm in the zone. We're working. We cooking up some really interesting projects. Some really interesting projects.
We are?
So we are. Just not in agreement.
I was like, do you care to share?
No. We're just gonna build the anticipation for now.
Oh,
but no,
okay.
it's fun, man. It's a good
me.
time. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be out here.
It's clearly still light outside over where you are.
Man, super bright behind me. And it's funny because now I'm
at
at
full view.
Yeah, like right now I'm like in this weird like time space where it's like I either go super dark or I keep the curtains up and keep it bright. So I'm like, all right, let's do this because hoping in about another 25 minutes or so, it'll get back to its normal pick.
Hey, I appreciate it because I like your background. It's one of the most fire backgrounds. But
you gotta come visit. Next time you're here, you're gonna come visit. We got I'll tell you.
I'm with it. What's up, Lee? Lee Wood's in the building. I just feel like shouting everybody out. Queen's in the building. You know what I mean? Jasmine said, I finally caught a live. I'm hype. Shout out to you.
Hey, we're hyped too. Yeah, thanks for being here, Jasmine.
Facts. All right, so I saw this clip, right, that brought a kind of an argument even to like the household, right? So it's a very like I had to sit down and was like, man, do I agree? Do I disagree? I could see, right. Well, and I was like internally battling with it even after the conversation. I was just like, man. So for those who don't know, we're going to be talking about gift versus passion. I think we're two different individuals that may see it a little bit different. Totally and then our teachings, like how we got taught, is definitely in play. So let's do this. In the comments, right? Especially if you're in the chats, if you're in the replay, hit the comments, right? But what is more important to you? The gift or the passion? You let me know. What team are you? Team gift? Team passion? And I'm going to play the clip so you kind of understand where we're going with this. Yeah, I'm so hurt by this clip.
If someone tells you to follow your passion, it means they're already rich. This is your job. Your job is to find something you're good at and then spend the thousands of hours and apply the grit and the perseverance and the sacrifice and the willingness to break through hard things to become great at it. Because once you're great at something, the economic accoutrements of being great at something, the prestige, the relevance, the camaraderie, the self-worth of being great will make you passionate about whatever it is. No one grows up thinking, I'm passionate about tax law, but the best tax lawyers in this nation fly private and have a much broader selection of mates than they deserve. And they get to do interesting things, which, by the way, makes them passionate about tax law.
Interesting. Shout out to Professor G, by the way, from NYU, for those who know, and for those who don't know. Yeah, that's, wow.
So, no, start this off. We're actually treating it like literally like a podcast today. So we're setting it up with the video, but before I go with my confused kind of vibe with it, I'd rather hear the structured one first because I'm conflicted. So you go ahead.
For sure. Well, let's start. I think the good way to start, or a better way to start, is just by defining the two, right? Because I think they're closely related. That someone would be like, well, I don't know the difference between a gift and a passion. They both sound like the same thing. And in reality, they're not. So for those who have just started rocking with us, but if you're a day one, shout out to you as well. All right. Go back to episode 9 after this live. We had CJ on that episode, right? Where he defines gifts, right? And he says that a gift is what comes easy to you that's hard for most, all right? So there are certain things and we all have them, but they're just probably different than the other people in our life or the other people in our circle, the other people that we pay attention to the most. So again, it's the gift is the thing that comes easy to you, but it's hard for most. So it's a little bit more difficult for them to do if they try to imitate you. Now, the passion is the thing that you love, right? So for me, I was passionate about baseball, right? Like growing up initially, that was my greatest passion. I absolutely loved baseball. But I think my gift was elsewhere, right? My gift wasn't discovered until my time after baseball. Now, here's where the debate is going to come in, Nix. I truly believe that my passion fueled my gift.
Break that down.
If that makes sense.
It does.
So
but break it down.
It's through the process of me pursuing my passion, that which I love, right? Which was the desire to become a professional baseball player, right? It's by pursuing that passion that I learned the importance of hard work, that I learned the importance of dealing with adversity, that I learned the importance of being a part of a team, that I learned the importance of leadership, right? So there were a lot of great qualities that I don't think I would be able to operate in my gift today had I not spent time pursuing my passion, which is that which I loved.
Okay.
So that's at least where I want to go with it to start. I'll pass it over to you to kind of share your take and where you see, where you see it fitting in. But for me, I believe that I'm still leaning towards the passion because I feel that if it weren't for my pursuit of my passion, I would not have arrived at or discovered my gifts. So, yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
I think, okay, so, see, this is the conflicting part, right? It depends, what's the goal? Hello. We're saying gifts versus passion on what? Like, what are we talking about? Because how I think instantly is the bag, right? Instantly, I'm thinking about long term, what's going to make me the money, right? And what's going to make me happy. Now, happiness, I'm going to need money to continue to stay happy, not necessarily because money makes me happy, but because I like materialistic things and experiences. Period, right? I'm aware of this. So with the passion, and what we didn't play with that clip was he was saying, okay, in my terms, your passion can make you money as well. So I'm not saying it can't. But what he was saying was, once there's an obstacle, because passion is a feeling. Once there's an obstacle and it doesn't feel good so much, do you feel so motivated to stay in your passion, right? And I had a really good conversation with Kale. And for those people who don't know who Kale is, he was on, I think, the last S2S podcast as a guest. CJ's and Candace's family, that's Candace's brother. And he was also one of the rappers on one of Eric Thomas, I was about to call him Dr. Eric Thomas, and I don't ever call him. E.T.'s, one of his albums, right? And he's a millennial, and he was like, yo, I realized that I'm always moving off of what feels good, right? I'm almost expecting that the way to get to the bag, the way to pursue happiness is by following my passion. And I wake up and I'm happy and it go lucky and everything like that. But the second there's an obstacle, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. But then, he broke into the spiritual vibe and was like, yo, but God told me it wasn't supposed to feel good. So he's battling between like rapping and spoken word and graphic design, which he has a true gift to. And so when we were having the conversation, I was like, use the gift to get the bag to buy your time back so you can work on your passion. Because the second it doesn't feel good, you could always go back to your gift and go back and forth if you want to, right? But the way that I was almost explaining it is as if it was a type of a hobby, right? I think for me, your gift is going to get you to a place where you can live out your passion for as long as you want to, right? But you need to master that gift. And your gift should be fun anyways, right?
Right.
Some aren't, I get it. But there's certain things that you can do to make sure that the gift is fun. The gift has certain points where it almost feels as your passion. And then when you realize like, oh, you know what? I have a passion of sewing. I mean, I have a passion of painting on these different cups and making graphics on mugs.
Hey, shameless plug. Let's go.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
So that's how and I was so conflicted because it was like, we hear, follow your passion, blah, 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 and then it wasn't really until CJ was like, nah, it's the gift. Like, and then on a spiritual vibe, it's like, I gave you these gifts, like for a reason. You know what I mean? Like for a reason. You maybe have to dig deeper to figure out what that reason is. But if you utilize that gift correctly, how I told you to do it, the things that could happen is limitless.
Man, it's so interesting. And shout out to everyone in the comments, by the way. I see Isis brewing up the dialogue in the comments with some fire questions. Mickey, Overland, as always. I think that part is definitely stimulating some really great dialogue. But I think the question to really kind of help us decipher is, because I think timing is a big part of it, right? Like when you throw in the element of timing, then it gets people thinking, okay, all right, it's different. Like, for example, why was I afforded the opportunity to pursue my passion before my gift, or before I even knew the importance of gift or the difference between the two? Well, for me, I had the opportunity to pursue my passion first because I was still, getting my education. Like I was still relatively young. It's something that you pursue at a different time. So I couldn't really pursue my gift at that time anyway, at least not to my knowledge at the time, because it's like, okay, well, based on what I was taught is you first got to go to school, so you get a good education, then you get a good job, and then you worry about that stuff later. But you're afforded this opportunity right now. It's like, imagine someone giving you, hey, you got 5 years, you won't get older during these 5 years, but you can do whatever you want with it. What would you do? And for me at that time, it was like, yo, baseball is that thing, until 23, where that was a different timeline. But my question to you now is, and this is what I want us to kind of debate or talk about a little bit next. If that's the scenario there where we're talking about time, so what happens when you don't know what the gift is? So like, it's difficult to pursue something that you don't know what it is. It's like, how am I supposed to go after something that I know is going to come easy for me, that's difficult for most,
right?
That I know is going to open doors for me and probably help me to make more money and buy me my time to go after what I'm passionate about. But I'm trying, I'm looking, and I just can't seem to find it.
So I don't think we don't know our gifts. I think we don't put value to it and call it a gift, or we're not true acceptance of it. Right? So, because anybody, and I think everybody has gone through this exercise of like, ask your closest friends, your family, yo, what is my gift? What am I good at? Right? And they'll all say something and you're like, what? No, how can, that's not it. Right? That's truly not it. And at the end of the day, we have to accept it. And we have to take it to new levels. So, yeah, we all go through the point of like, I don't know what my gift is. I don't know what it is. But everything that you're good at is a gift. Now, which gift is better, there's a different story, right? What are you really, really known for is a different story. But these things that you do very well that other people are like, what? How did you do this? How did it, like me creating content is a gift. I already know this, but it's super easy to me. I'm like, how do you not know how to trim? Like, there, 3 seconds. Here you go. Oh my God, that's so amazing. How did you do that? What? Press edit. What are you talking about? There's an edit button? What? So, and there's no shade to anybody who did not know little simple things, right? But the way, okay, here's my blunt New York self. For those who struggle with that question, if ever a time somebody asked you a question about something that you're good at or something that you know very well that you don't think you do, and you were like, yo, why are you serious? Like, why are you dumb? Like,
are you dumb?
Like, yeah, like, are you dumb? Like, you think that in your head. You're clearly not saying that unless you're super, super blunt. But if you're really saying like, yo, are you dumb? You don't know that? Like, that's so easy. Oh my God, talk me through it. I didn't know. I'm sorry. We're not as smart as you. Like, you may want to like keep that in your mind. Like, yo, is that one of the gifts? Because we have multiple gifts. Like, is that one? Like, am I just not putting power to it? Am I not really just like, what am I doing with it? This is, So I wanted to say that, like, if you ever told anyone, are you, well, in your mind, not told, are you dumb? Like, you're not asking.
Yeah, don't
this.
call.
Like, it's right there, like, literally in your face. Oh, I thought you had to do it this way. So that's what I say. But there's a, where is she at? Because she says something. Where did I pass it? Hold on. Bear with me, people. Oh, y'all really like commenting today.
Yeah, no, it's happening. The
Right.
chat is heated today.
So this sparked up a thought. Like, gifts are meant to be given, period. Right? So meaning, gifts are really not supposed to feel good because it's not for us. So we're not really supposed to like all our gifts. It's time consuming. There's sacrifice to it. If we have to master it, that's just a whole nother vibe. It may come very easy, but it's something that we don't necessarily maybe look forward to, because that's what the passion part is. I wake up and I love it, and I go and I climb up to the mountains. Hiking is my passion. I love hiking. I'm a city person. That is not me. Okay? That is not me. But just to go along with that, like, just if you are battling between passions and gift, and you're like, yo, this isn't it. Like, I don't really enjoy it. I don't really like doing it. Then you either master another gift, or you understand and fully accept that that gift isn't for you. I'm just saying.
I like that.
One of those things.
I like that. No, I definitely had that idea, though, or at least like I was definitely thinking about that. Like, yeah, for sure. A part of like fulfilling the gift is really discovered through giving it away. You know, like I do believe in that. Like, when you just the fact that you can simply arrive at something that you don't mind giving away because, number one, like think of a child, right? Like I've been around children a little bit more the last couple of weeks, and I'm kind of like watching their behavior. And a child's natural behavior is to be a little bit more selfish around things that they have, especially it's like mine. No, mine. I don't want to share. It's mine, right? And not to take it as far as to say that they have a scarcity mindset, but we have that selfish nature in us just as human beings or just as children, right? So to reach your first stage of adulthood or just any point in your adulthood that you come across something that you so willingly and almost like without no issues, without any concern of, okay, there's no more, I can't redo it. I'm worried about the future. It's like, nope, I'm willingly going to give this away. That should make you kind of stop and say, okay, hold up. What just happened? Like, what is the difference between what I have done traditionally, which is think about how much is there, how much is for me, how much can I keep? Is there enough for everyone I care about? And why is it that you've come across something that you so openly want to give away, right? Clearly, like you said, and I think it takes us back to that original definition of, oh, you see that this does come easy to you, that you do produce content, regularly or quickly or easily, that you don't necessarily need to hang on to something for a special scenario or a special moment, but you can just give because as you give, it leads you to your next find, right? Or you discover the next thing that you can say or produce by letting go of what you originally held on to. So like, I think that in its essence is so deep or really cool from a gifting standpoint about when you come across something that you want to give away and how that should just in itself make you stop and think like, okay, wait up. Why different than what I've normally done?
I like that. You see where I put it next to you?
Yeah. Talk about it.
So real quick, commercial break. Yeah, we don't do commercials, but here's a quick commercial break. Oh, and that quickly. So for all our Apple Podcast listeners, you see it where it says join Nicky and Moose All Access Squad and the 17 million notifications that you're about to see, but bear with me because this is my phone. So we are dropping exclusive content on Apple Podcasts. I'm just going to keep hearing horns because I'm really, really excited because this has been a journey. Wow. Wow. So there are, if you can see it, 2 bonus after shows that are for our subscribers, for our all access squad. And there will be another one that drops tomorrow. So go get your 3-day free trial. You know what I mean? It's a whole vibe. We're going to be dropping pretty much once a week, some bonus stuff for you guys. So yeah. I just wanted to interrupt that real quick.
Quick commercial break.
Yeah. I just wanted to interrupt it. But my bad. Moose.
Yeah. There's so much heat in the comments. I'm like,
yo, they're
wow,
going
okay.
today. This is the topic. This is the topic.
Wow. Some great questions though. What happens when you monetize all of your gift and lose the passion to do them when it now becomes work?
I can't. Answer that first, Moose. Answer that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I've had that challenge, so I feel almost out of pocket speaking on it, but I almost want to predict what you're going to say, right? Is that I don't believe, or maybe you won't say this, but here's what I believe.
Okay.
I don't believe that everything should be monetized.
Facts.
All right. That's just what I believe, because what I've noticed is that your approach begins to change about something that you've cared for that has now turned into some form of profitable business, or it requires that other side of life where you got to now transact on the thing that you care about. So if possible, right, I would always suggest like, man, leave some things that you can do where it doesn't have any transactions tied to it. It doesn't have that worldly part of, okay, I have to show up, I have to provide a service or give a product or do something, for that concept. It's like, just enjoy and let your payment be how rejuvenated you feel when you're involved in the act. Because I do feel that that's a form of payment. Like a part of our gift was what we consider, and again, shout out to the flight assessment. I'm gonna go there shortly because I saw Starlet asked about the eyes of the flight attendants a little bit down in the comments. But a big part of that in operating in our gift, or what we say is most natural, what have we learned about the differences between the natural and our adaptive? Well, we've learned that you rejuvenate, you recharge in your natural, doing that which is most easiest and comfortable to you, and you waste energy or release energy in your adaptive. All right. So it's like, if you have to turn every single gift that you've been given into some form of monetization, then you're just constantly giving a lot of energy away, because I'm sure some part of that you are uncomfortable with. So yeah, long story short, I would say at least part of, or one of those gifts, try and hide to be like your own little secret weapon. Or if you do give away, don't tie the monetization part to it, because now it ties too many structures that I think naturally can just kind of like, stiff arm you into not flowing in that essence that I think is what is considered natural.
I'm gonna say that I'm agree. You don't have to monetize, and you shouldn't monetize all your gifts, because all your gifts are not meant to be monetized. Some are just meant to be given away, right? Just some of them are just, it's not for you, it's for somebody else, but it's not on necessarily a on a money tip. Now, you may be confusing it with the passion thing. You've monetized all your passions, and then all of a sudden, now it's feeling like work. That's a different story, right? I have a passion for sneakers. I made that into work, and then I stopped because I just didn't have time. And plus, it was really taxing, right? It was just time consuming. And so now I'm back to just loving on sneakers and wearing them, and I'll probably add them into my content, like just carry a random sneaker because that's my thing. Because I love sneakers, right? I love collecting sneakers. But I did the monetization. I flipped them, made really good money. It was great. Paid for a lot of trips, but that had to stop when other gifts took over. So if you do monetize, and the way that Carlette is saying it, I really think it's more on a passion than necessarily your gifts. But if you forever, because she's a high pilot, so she thinks passions and gifts are like the same thing. We have to monetize everything. So I get it. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I understand. But some things just are meant for you. Some things are just meant for you to smile, to enjoy, to relax, to problem solve on your own. That's what you do on your time. If you tend to monetize everything that you do, what do you have for yourself? What you are now living for money and others. That is your sole purpose. And that gets very draining at some point of your life. So don't monetize all of them. Now, since I do know Carlette, and she is, like I said, a high pilot, pick the one that makes you the most money, ma'am. Go ahead and do that. And the rest is just for you. And whenever you feel like switching up, you can, because you have those multiple gifts, and it's, maybe a little slow grind back up, but you can make it back.
I love that. Let's talk to this last question here, or this last comment before we move on. The next thing I'm going to talk about is tapping into some personal lessons now around just that idea of pursuing gifts and passions. I think that we can always learn from just, being a little bit more transparent. If you haven't noticed, folks, as you tap in with us every Tuesday, you start to see that Tuesday is more of the kind of like personal and professional development side of building your brand and your business. So it's like, it's our inside out approach to making what you see on the outside look good. So like some of these dialogues are real life dialogues that me and Nicky would have or converse about or study and read and kind of, turn over and learn and come back, and share here, because it's like, it's actually just as important to talk about these things in the process of building something for the outside world, so that's what these dialogues have, turned into. So just as you know, like, why should I tap into Tuesday? Tuesday is for you. Wednesday or Tuesday live is for you. The podcast mostly is for your brand and your business. Just so, just so we wrap that up. But where's Starlet's question?
Okay, all right. Oh, hold on. You want me to find through that whole... They've been shout out to everybody. I think I found it. Who's been in the chat? Is this it?
Yep. That's it right here. So it said, can you speak to the 99 eyes where passion may be where we live naturally, right? And how do we effectively focus on the gift even if it doesn't feel good? And that's a phenomenal question, right? Because in its essence, it's talking about what have we learned about the personality type of the eye or the flight attendant, that a big part of their personality or a trait that comes with their personality is energy and passion. Like naturally, that is their biggest gift to give. That's just how they're naturally wired. That's what they do every single time. So they have a tendency to get excited about everything. Right. They're overly optimistic about many different things. It's like everything can be the one idea that will take us to the moon and back 6 times in 4 seconds. Like that is a part of the natural wiring. So to those personalities, especially Starlet, I actually encourage them to look in the areas of what doesn't feel good. Right? Because when you're so wired to only interacting with things that do it the way you do it, right? Because chemistry is easily sparked again amongst those who are naturally like us. But what happens when we come across someone who maybe isn't the exact image of us and we give it its time? You notice there's more depth there, right? There's more substance to those things, or there's more value to the things that you don't just race in and out of. So I would encourage those people, like, those are actually some of the signs you need to pick up on to say, oh, wait a second, this isn't as comfortable, or I have interest here, but it doesn't come as easy, or it drains my energy quicker. It's like dig in that area a little bit more, because what you might find is you can, and like I said, that was my pursuit. It's like baseball wasn't necessarily what I was gifted to do, although I was a decent player, got to college the whole nine. But I couldn't make it professionally. And I think that would be the scoring card of, was it truly your passion? You were able to turn it into a profession. And for me, I wasn't able to do that. But I learned so many lessons that I think at the core of who I am is what I've learned through that upbringing, right? Being someone on the field. So just long story short, I would say, man, like, look a little deeper into those things that typically you don't feel as passionate about, because there's so much you can uncover and learn through that process, which you can then, as we've mentioned, reroute into another area, and you develop the gift elsewhere.
I like it. Where are we going with this now?
I want to talk some personal, some lessons now. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I want to know what has Nicky discovered, in this pursuit or on this journey of navigating gifts and passions. What are some things that you've learned along the way? Like, oh, okay, hold up, I'm taking this one with me, because I've noticed with you, like, you got a lot of hidden game. It's like you got to really dig, you got to ask. But when you ask, it's like, oh no, it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, all right. So tell us real quick, man. What are some just some lessons that you've discovered on this whole navigating gifts and passions and talents and all these things that we've been balancing over the last 2 years?
You're gonna have to get a little bit more specific, because I'm an open book when you ask specific questions. I got it, but
yeah, I'm just wondering, like, was there ever a time where you had to, choose between more pay for something that you don't enjoy as much, or less
absolutely.
pay for something that you enjoy more often? So, like, give us the deets, and tell us how you navigated, right? How did you work your way back to where you're at now? That's what we want to know. We want to know the deets.
See, but then you get into specifics, and then I get in trouble. So
No. You're good.
then I get in trouble. So, I think, well, when it comes to what did you pick because of the price and like how much they pay you and everything like that, like I'm very aware that, and I'm gonna be very typical with this, but anything I put my mind to, I can do, and I can outbeat anybody, right? So when I was in the Navy, I had to figure out, even on a, like in my 20s, just figuring out from a strategic standpoint, like, okay, I'm gonna pick this IT stuff because it's probably gonna translate and gonna make well over 6 figures down the line. Do I know anything about this? Probably not. I can figure it out. I always like computer. I'm a tech person. So I'll figure this out. Boom, right? And I made sure that every single thing that I did, it was just, and that's my high pilot, I just beat everybody, right? Fast forward to when I had to get out of it, and now I'm doing it more on a corporate level and seeing the money for that. I got bored very easily. But I knew, okay, you can do this. It's not hard because you're putting your mind to it. But then when I stopped putting my mind to it, I'm like, I'm searching now. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? That's when I realized that I have a natural gift of storytelling through video. So in the middle of the whole IT thing, I'm making little videos here and there with music and just putting pictures and videos and words together. That's my thing, right? I love, if you give me an idea, I make it visual, right? Which then would lead to, because you can do this, then here's all these other little tasks that goes along with this gift that you have. So even with understanding what I'm dope at and all that great stuff, it still brings in certain things that I'm either not getting paid properly, and in which at this point I'm saying I don't even care because it's the long road for me, right? And then there are some things that I do that I know if I've been given a bit more time to concentrate on, that if I get in my zone with it, because this is really like where I flourish at, is going to be a very big problem for certain people. So starting off with just doing stuff because of the pay, or doing stuff because I know down the line this will do good, and the way that my competitive spirit is, I'm going to assume that it is going to be a passion and gift and everything because my mom told me so, the Navy told me so, all that great stuff, to then down the line figure out I ain't need this darn bachelor's degree and none of these certifications and none of this. I'm actually really cool at just talking to people and telling about storytelling and content, and great. Oh, okay. I wasted a whole bunch of time.
Wow. What's the next level for you now? What's the next level for you now? What's next in general? You notice I asked you that question today when I text you? I was like, I was really
confused what you mean by that. I was like, huh?
Yeah,
what?
I was curious. I'm like, okay, so what are you focused on now? Like, because here's another thing that I talked about with someone today, right? I was telling them how you got to be so mindful of when you get in a groove, because that groove can quickly turn into complacency. It's like all of a sudden you stop doing some of the things that helped you get there, or they just don't have the same level of impact, right? that they did when you first started doing them.
Right.
So after you stabilize, after you anchor yourself in something that's important, the next thing is to start looking at, okay, well, how do I develop a little bit more, right? How can I master it at a higher level? There's something else that you keep digging for. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, like, for you, what's next? Like, what are you digging for right now? Tell us the secret.
Time. I'm digging for my time, to have my time back, to be honest with you. Because like I said, that there's certain things that if I'm given more time to concentrate on, it would benefit a whole lot of people and be a whole different type of bag. But because I'm still concentrating on the little task that I mentioned earlier because of this gift that I have, right? Now I'm digging myself into a hole sometimes with this. You know what? Okay. Random, and if
That's what
Isaiah's
we
on
hear.
here,
Yeah, tell us that.
whatever. If Isaiah's on here, he understands being reliable sucks. Okay? Being reliable and being really good at what you do is like, shout out to all the people that suck at what they do. You hardly have any kind of work because you suck at what you do. Right?
Dang.
And you probably live an okay life. I'm just saying the people who are reliable, and if you feel me in this, if you're in the chat, type 1. Y'all know how I do. Type 1, right? Just in the comments or in the chat, put the number 1 if you understand what I mean, right?
Dang.
We're given all the different projects. We're coming up with all these different things to do and all that great stuff, while the people who suck continue to suck and do that one thing they can't get right. So you may be gifted in this thing, but because you're reliable, right, and you're really dope at that gift, all the tasks that comes along with that gift, right, is now upon you and continues to pile on you. And you're like, what about this fool over here? See how I caught myself? What about this person? What about that person? Why can't you do this at all? Look at me getting blurry.
Yeah.
Even my camera's mad at me. But so when we talk about the gifts and everything like that, it has its pros and cons. And so for me, I'm almost at a point where it's like between me and one other person, I'm at a point where you're about to have all my money to give me some time so I can make more money. But then the conflict, here's the conflict. And here's where I may go too far, but I don't care because you did this. The conflict is, and we've had this conversation, is the responsibility of paying for other individuals to have my time back my responsibility? Why is it cool, right? Because so, for example, I know Isaiah has some things that need to be taken off his plate. So now one of my main things is to make sure I find other people. If you are a video editor at any point or want to get into video editing, please email Nicky at deeperthanthebrand.com. That is Nicky at deeperthanthebrand.com. Anyways, so that was really good.
I like that.
But my whole goal now is to make sure that some things are off his plate, right? At the same time, I'm like, and I feel like everybody has gone through this. Why isn't anybody going to do that for me? What, are you serious? Like, why do you think it's cool to continuously like keep me in a bubble but still give me mad work to do and figuring out, because it's like Nicky, figure out the world here, right? Figure out the world. And as I'm figuring out the world, there's still other stuff that needs to be done. And I'm like, hello, okay.
Help.
Right. Help.
SOS.
Me. Help me.
But that's because I'm the reliable one, right?
Yeah.
And that's the gift and the curse of that. Of when you are a dope person, you have these problems. Now, the people who suck don't have these problems. If you're not relating with how I'm talking right now, you probably suck. And that's okay.
Ooh.
I'm just saying I love you regardless. And you're going to be listening and watching this program, this show, and multiple shows that we may create. And then you're going to become really good. And then you could relate to what I'm talking about. But for those who suck, I don't like you. I just don't. I'm not a fan.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I did this. I'm responsible for this. Don't hold anything that Nicky just said. Don't take it personal. It's my fault. I clearly have seen. I see what I've done. I was just, I wanted to dig. So this is it.
Gerald Cook too said delegate. Yeah, that's the conversation that I am trying to not say superly openly, but saying that, hey,
I need help.
I need help. But then to the point of, is it mine's or other people's, which is not, this is how it is. Okay. Because if I talk to somebody else about this, they'd be like, how much is it a priority? Blah, 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 blah. Like, you just take ownership of it. Here's where the only child comes in. I don't want to. Okay? It's not fair. I'm going to say that. Right? I don't want to.
Fair.
It's not fair. Okay? Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, like I said, with Isaiah, I'm putting it as my responsibility just because the others aren't fully pushing their weight, and he is. I know I have to find him some other things, some other help, right? And I'm like, why doesn't anybody care about me? Why don't I get that? Why does everybody? I mean, literally, to Inky Johnson, my name is Beast. Like, and I fully get it. And these kind of responsibilities, these kinds of headaches and frustrations and all that come along with it. I'm just being verbal about it. I'm just being very verbal because some other people may feel this way. But I fully understand with these different gifts that I have, with these different talents and all that great stuff, this is the stages that I'm going to go through. Now, will eventually it not be a problem? Yes, absolutely. When my hard-headedness takes the whole ownership of fine, here, whatever, even though this isn't fully mine per se, right? And it shouldn't be my responsibility to pay somebody to get this off my head. I have to have some type of peace. And so here you go. So I could do this and it'll come back to me eventually. That was my rant.
Wow. That and quiet as kept. That's why I believe they say.
Yo, talk about that. Hold on. Just because you carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. That is a bar. That is I need that bar somewhere. That needs to be a poster or something. That is fire.
I like that.
Anyways.
That's a good word, Andrea. Yeah, no, I think that's a big part of why they say, leadership is lonely, because it's like, as you develop, as you grow, as you're helping guide and lead others, you reach a point where it's like, man, I'm doing all of this for everybody else, and there isn't really anyone doing it for me. Like, that's kind of, at least that's what's talked about, but yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm not going to sit here and try and play fixer-upper and give you suggestions on how to do it. No, I just wanted to know, like, yo, what's next? It's like, I've been genuinely curious.
I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just...
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just I just wanted people to know. I wanted people to know.
I'm
I love
just saying it. But look, oh, hold on. I see somebody said Ben Simmons. Hold up. If you got that
Oh
Ben
my
Simmons
God.
game, get off the court.
Man, my man's been getting chewed up.
Leave my man alone. He's getting it high and low. We're gonna say shout out to Ben Simmons. You are still loved. Even though the world might not like you, you are still loved over here. Even though I'm not even a Philly fan, you are still loved over here. But yeah, this is
Happens.
I was about to say this is rich people problems, but but it's like, yo, and to go a little bit more, it's just like, and I saw somebody was like, Nicky, get a squad and everything like that. Okay, I know I'm dope. Hold on, let's go. I know I'm dope. I get it. But you think all the stuff that I am doing is done by me? No, not at all. Not at all. So there is one. You forget I have multiple hats, and there are multiple things that I am in charge of. Not because I put myself in that position in certain places. It's because I'm reliable. So sometimes when you're reliable, you are there as a loner. You are there by yourself. And how do I put this without... Oh, I hate you, Moose. I hate how you like ask these questions and then try to censor at the same time. This is horrible. For all my transparent people, you probably understand how I'm feeling right now. But this is hard. This is really hard. This is really hard. This is really hard. But there is going to be a time where you either have to let it go or take full ownership on something that is not fully yours. And you have to be okay with that and hope that down the road it makes sense. It could really backfire. Okay, it could really backfire. And it has at some point for me. Right? So if I'm being transparent about this particular situation is because a person doesn't want to get backfired at any kind of backlash or anything anymore. So I rather, and this is what reliable people do sometimes, I rather take the heat for some situations and the weight for certain situations besides the betrayal and besides the negative effects of taking ownership of something that is truly not yours to own. So, for those who get that, that was for you. If that went over your head, I apologize. Did that do good? Did that make sense?
That's good. That was good. I know exactly what you said, but
Okay.
It's good. All right. Good stuff.
Look at that. Look at
Good
that.
stuff.
I'm just saying. Isaiah said we are at a place of having a squad to build an enterprise. I love Isaiah. If there's one person I will always make sure in life that person's taken care of, that's Isaiah. I'm just saying. What we doing for the next 5-6 minutes? What we doing?
I mean, I had something to share, but I'm like, maybe it's not even worth it at this point. I'm just like,
Why? Why I gotta share all this stuff and then you don't?
No. I think I do hear what you're saying though. I think for those out there who are working with people, man, I work on digging for answers around things that don't make sense, you know, because I feel like everything that you share, to some people, it may not make sense. But I think to those who are listening and those who truly care, it makes a whole lot of sense, right? And it's important to do that. So it's like, you know, you see mixed comments. Like some people really believe that, if you're a leader, to whom much is given, much is required. You know, like that's one mentality of it. And it's like, yeah, but what if I'm already doing that and it's still not enough? You know, like there are definitely some adjustments that need to be made. And if you're wondering, like, how does this all tie to gifts and passions? It's like, those are some of the dangers. These are some of the, you know, the not so good sides to having a gift, right? Especially if you don't have the right people beside you to help you carry that. Because I do believe that when you think about some of the absolute greats, and that's the one thing we've discovered through our research in preparation for, you know, content on Tuesdays, or whether it be the podcast, it's like the extent and the depth of teams that are behind the one person you see is just out of control. Like it's not just, you know, Jay-Z. It's not just Steve Jobs. It's not just, you know, whomever. Like there are so many people who are really kind of pushing and rallying, at least for the most part, to help get that boat out of the dock. Like there's a lot of energy that goes into it. So I think when resources are scarce, that's what you start to see. Like somebody is lifting with both hands and both legs and everything they got in them. And it's like, yo, come on, can you lend me a hand? I see you got a hand in your pocket. What's up with that? So I think that's some of the challenges that you start to see with the, you know, with the gifting for sure. I think go for it.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to go in a different direction at this point. Go for it.
And it is, because I saw somebody said restructuring. It is a matter of restructuring, but that takes time. And I'm just one of those transparent people that will let you know during the time of this restructuring kind of vibe of how I feel. Because I'm not one of those people that is going to always be like, this is the responsibility that I have. Understand, I have the whole marathon mentality. That is not the issue. Like I said earlier, there's certain weight and certain responsibilities that come with this, and I'm fully for it. But my only child syndrome will say this is not fair, because deep down inside, other people are saying this same thing about their own situation. Yo, it's okay. I don't care how old you are to be like, yo, this ain't fair, dog. Like, are you like? And so in that same concept, why in one section I say it's not fair, but I'm the change when it comes to Isaiah. You see what I'm saying? So it may not be fair over here, but instead of me complaining about it, I have to show other people how it's supposed to be. It's not, you know, and in hopes that karma will hit, right? I've been very, like, with the whole team situation, I know I've been very blessed with like a Kurt and an Ashley who is like, yo, I'm down to help. What's up? And I keep it very mutual, right? On some, yo, what do you need? What can I do? This, that, and the third. And I've been very blessed with two individuals. Shout out to Kurt, shout out to Ashley, who is like, yo, I know we ain't the original team. We know that. But yo, I know all this. I don't know all the stuff, but I have a good amount of knowledge because I've been in the background studying, like, of what you do and what are some of the gaps. So let me help you. And I'm like, I'm at a point like, please, here, go. What resources do you need? I got you, right? But in the time of restructuring, yeah, I'm gonna feel a bit frustrated, and it shouldn't be bad. It shouldn't be looked down upon, or people being like, this is what you're supposed to get. No, like, you're allowed to feel however you want to feel. How you express that inside or externally is on you. The same way how if you want to share whatever you want on your social media, that's on you. And it could possibly help somebody. It possibly can. You may be giving too much information. You may not. But you're not wrong for expressing, because there's others who are going to play as if they have all this guap of money. They have a whole successful business and there's no issues. This is what they were born to do. And it just looks perfect. That's not reality.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
So for
It doesn't exist.
any leader who's ever like, who is doing the whole suck it up kind of vibe, you too felt frustrated. You just get tough love, and so you're trying to dish that back out, which is cool. But I'm going to say it's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to go out in public and say, yo, this doesn't even make sense. This, like, and as I'm saying that, I'm going to be the change. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
There you have it, folks. There you have it. The good and the bad. Yeah, no, it's perfect. That's perfect. I see a lot of people who've connected with it, though. I see a lot of people who connected with it, especially Starlet. It seemed like Starlet was like, word up. Word up. No,
Isn't
that's
Starlet
good.
like Puerto Rican and from New York?
I've learned my lesson to not comment on gender nor anything else on these lives because I've messed it up multiple times. So I just read names. And then, you know, I once I see a picture, I will then make I know a starlet through extreme execution. I know that person very, very well.
I am
however,
over you.
However, I will not make this mistake on a recorded live because, that felt pretty bad last time I did it. So shout out to you guys who were there.
Shout out to Winty.
Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
Oh my God. I appreciate you. She said
good.
Yes. I was
Nice.
like,
Okay, perfect.
of course she's going to identify with it because we're somewhat of the same. So it's fine.
Oh, that's what's up. Look, same exact mix too. That's awesome.
See?
You guys have a lot in common.
See? Did you take the 23? And look, now I'm acting like I'm on the phone with her. Did you take the 23 and me? Because I found that I'm like West African. I found out what black I am. Funny thing, side note. Which is, look, she said not offended. So,
good.
So there was a Juneteenth celebration that I had to be a part of. And Q, and everybody who knows Q, if not, go check our YouTubes, Quincy Harris, right? He was like, I'm black. I don't know what kind of black I am, but I'm black, right? And I was like, yeah. I said the same thing before. I don't know what black I am, but, you know, my mom said this thing, and she was completely wrong. I went to 23andMe, right? I will, though. I will, though. Went to 23andMe. I found out I'm like 47% West African. I'm Nigerian. I'm all these other things. I'm like, here I am. I thought I'm just black and Puerto Rican. I thought that was just fine. So anybody who doesn't know their blackness, their Asianness, their Caucasianness, that whatever you are, you're Islanderish. Slight plug, 23andMe. I did it.
And we're not even getting paid for this.
And we're not getting paid just because it was really like relieving. And they have the most random things. Like it tells you what time you wake up genetically. It's the weirdest thing. But what we are supporting is All Access Squad on Apple Podcasts.
There it is.
Listen, do me a favor. People in the chat right now, if you are an Apple Podcast user, say Apple. Just type in Apple. That's all I want to know. Type in Apple, right? Because today we have officially, I kind of teased it yesterday, but today we officially launched the All Access Squad, which is going to have bonus episodes from our podcast of you getting to know the real strategies of stuff our real thoughts on stuff. So if you think this is great, yeah, go listen to some of these after shows, right? And just some details that we just feel, well, one, we don't have enough time to do on the podcast. Like if you heard the Jeremy and the Sarah bonus tracks that we did, tracks like we're whole rappers, this is great. Bonus episodes, you're gonna hear like real life strategies that you're not gonna hear anywhere else. So go to Apple Podcasts, type in Nicky and Moose, hit that all access squad. It's a whole vibe. Shout out to everybody who's on Apple, because that means y'all gonna be part of the all access squad. You know what I mean?
There it is.
You know what I mean?
There it
I'm
is.
just saying.
Check us out. Yeah.
But we are gone. It is 9:05. I talked a little bit too much, clearly. I apologize. Not really. Go check out the episode 38. Talked about a lot of stuff. It was really good. I really liked this episode. Really, really good. And we will be back next Tuesday, same time, same place. Shout out to everybody who was in the super chat. Shout out to everybody who's watching this replay. We are gone. You already know what we're going to say. Holla.
Peace, y'all.